Hello, and welcome to VRCore's second video for the Note Central note-taking system. So this time I'm going to show you Note Taker, which is the first of the three programs that work around Note Central. So same looking installation, specific information for Note Taker. Here's the license agreement. As you can see, just like Note Central, this has a very small file size, or disk space size I should say. And just like that, it's installed. So I'll start Note Central, and hit Start Note Taker, and just like that, we're ready to start taking notes. Now, so just to give you just a quick example, I can let me bring up my current notes here. So I'll just clear this all out for now. Okay, so blank notes. So now if I just say, here's a quick sample note, and then type in /note, and there we go. That note's taken. Simple as that. If I bring up my notes, there it is. Now, and then this will work on just about any program with a text prompt. Here's another quick note. There you go. And it works even if you're online. Here's yet another note. See, just like that. Now, another feature of Note Taker is that you're able to select text, like especially if you're online and you see some interesting text that you want to save as a note, you can just highlight that and then press, by default it's Control-Alt-N, and there you go, just like that. That is captured as a note. So to show you that, see, here's the third note I made, and here's the text I just selected. So it's as simple as that to make notes. Now let me elaborate a bit about what exactly these mode buttons do for this program. So let me open up Notepad again, and let's just say here is one line of text. Here is another line of text. Alright, now right now this is set to mode 3. So if I type in note here, it captures that line of notes. Now what that's actually doing, because it's set to mode 3, it's basically pressing Shift Home to select that line, cutting it, and then saving it as a note. So it's used to basically just when you have a single line of text to use as your note, and then you want to just capture that one line. Now mode 2, on the other hand, if I set it to there, now if I type /note, captures everything. Because now basically what it did there, it basically pressed Control-A for select all, and then cuts that and saves that as your note. So that's the difference between mode 3 and mode 2. So most likely you'll probably be using mode 3. Mode 1 is the weirdest one, and mode 3 is for those rare cases in certain programs where you can't actually select the text, but simply pressing cut captures that text. So just as one example, I have a game here that I love to play called Dungeon Defenders by Trendy Entertainment, and so this game has a chat system. So if I bring up that chat system, as you can see it there down now at the bottom of the screen, right now I have it set to mode 1, and let's just say I forgot what mode I set it to. Well, I can just type in set mode and then type in mode 1, 2, or 3. In this case, I want mode 1. So there we go, that's set. So here's yet another sample note. If I can type in sample correctly. Then /note, and there you go, captures it. So as you can see, now normally if I were to bring up another window or something to take notes in, this game would minimize and it would kind of interfere with the gameplay. This way I can take notes right here in the game. Let's see. Now another thing I want to bring up. So I've already shown you the note text command. I've shown you the set mode command. Now I want to show you a couple other commands. First of all, for Note Central itself, I mentioned this button over here that reloads Note Central. There's a text command for that too. So let's say I'm in the middle of the game and for some reason I might need to reload Note Central, which is probably a rare case anyway. I would just bring up that same chat window at the bottom of the screen, type in reload Note Central, and there you go, just like that. Note Central is reloaded. So if I minimize this, now you'll see that the window's gone because it reloads it, and it also, when you tell it to reload using that command, it doesn't bring up the window, so that way it doesn't interfere with your program. But it is currently running, so if I just press the short key to bring that up, there it is. Another command is if you were as an alternative to going to the tray and starting the settings window that way, or pressing the hotkey, just as another option, in any text prompt you can type in show settings, and it brings up the window also. Now as for setting the file here, this lets you set what file you want to write to and what file you want to read from. So write to is for Note Taker and Note Ghost, and reading from is for Note Scanner and Note Central. So for example, right here is I can type the command here. If I type in let's say new write file .txt, and that .txt is good to always put at the end of the file name to ensure compatibility. Then after that, type in /set file write. See, I forgot to change the mode back, because typically you do want to use mode 3, so it captures that whole line of text there. So now I type in set file write, and there you go. Now that write to file set. Same thing here, I can also type in set file read. Sorry, after I type in the name of the file. So new read file .txt, set file read, and there you go, that's set. Now I can also just set both of them at the same time by typing in the name of the file and then typing set file name, and there you go, they're both set. So yeah, so that'll come in handy for the various programs in this pack. Now I mentioned that you push Control-Alt-N to capture a selected text. You can change that hotkey to whatever you want to. One more thing to make note of, oh by the way, about auto modes here. Now auto mode is just another convenient feature to use on top of the modes. So for example, I know here on Note Central, on the Note Central program, I know that I always like to use mode 3. So after I know for sure that I've set mode 3, then I can type in add mode auto. And so what that'll do now, that takes this this window name and takes the current mode I have it set to and stores them together. So whenever I come back to this window, let's just say for some reason I had it set to mode 1. Now whenever I type in set mode auto, there you go, sets it right back to mode 3 because it knows that for this program, for this window, I need it set to mode 3. So same thing over here, as I was showing you in my game Dungeon Defenders. Here I use mode 1. So if I type in set mode 1, then I type in add mode auto. From now on, whenever I type in set mode auto, it knows that for this game to set it to mode 1. And so if I switch back to this window, you can see here that it did indeed set it to mode 1. Now one final quick note I want to make here is that I have seen the rare case, and it does seem rare so far, where some of the functionality of Note Taker doesn't seem to want to integrate with the current program that you're using. The only case I've seen this so far is with a particular program that's used with various video games. The program is called Steam by Valve Software, and they have a very cool feature called the Steam Overlay that's usable with just about any game that you run with Steam. However, I've noticed that for some reason I have not been able to figure out yet, the Note Taker commands do not seem to want to function with the Steam Overlay. Now that said, Note Taker does seem to work just fine with all the Steam games. You can also use Note Ghost to take notes. You can also simply cut the text and then paste it elsewhere in the game to capture as a note. There are different ways to work around it. But it's just something to keep in mind, that there will be that rare case of a program that might not be fully compatible with the program. But that said, with like 99% of the programs I've tried, they all work just fine with my programs. Especially Note Ghost, that seems to be a universal one that works anywhere, which I'll show you later. Note Taker, though, is very convenient because you can actually see the notes you're typing and see them on any text prompt that's available to you. So with that said, I believe that about sums up Note Taker. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoy the programs as well. Bye.